Hey, my name's Caleb, and today I'm going to teach you how to smoke a brisket. Smoked brisket has doubled in interest from one point in time to another, and then another point in time it doubled again, so the interest just keeps rising. That's why today I'm going to show you how to climb off that fence sitting interested state and get into the getter smoking state. Now, there are a lot of super technical how-tos and tutorials for how to smoke a brisket, but the details in those other tutorials don't matter. So the first step in smoking a brisket is making sure you get the right cut of meat. Now, there's a lot of information in this label that you can see. We've got beef, brisket, whole USDA, prime, vacuum package. So there's a lot of words in here. The most important word that you want to make sure that you have is the word beef brisket. That's the most important. A lot of people say you got to get the prime cut, you can't get choice cut. But I say if you get prime tuna fish, you're going to be a whole lot more disappointed than if you get choice brisket. So here we've got the best of both. We've got the prime beef right here, and it actually is beef. We're not working with tuna fish here. And now we're going to start to unpackage this and cut it up. Now, another important tip is to make sure that you have a good knife here. You see how the tip of the back end curves, and it curves upwards? Well, that doesn't really matter that much. The most important thing to make sure is that it's made of Valyrian steel. Valyrian steel is kind of like lightsabers. It doesn't matter how dull it is, it can just cut through anything. So let's go ahead and just start opening up this package. And another important thing with this brisket is there are actually two pieces of meat. We've got the flat of the meat right here, and you want a fat flat. See how it's really thick right there, so that's really good. This is actually going to burn on this end because it's too thin. But we've got a point side and a flat side. And our job here is to just remove all the white. So we just do a little bit of slicing, just like this. And if it's white, get rid of it. There's no real technical way of how to do this. Just try to get rid of all this white. Just go ahead and fillet this cow, just like that. And check out this Valyrian steel here. It's doing a really nice job cutting it just like butter. Boom. And if you ever do cut, like I'm cutting here, and you start to see red, you're in the danger zone. Back up. It's like going to Six Flags here. It's just a thrill. And if it's white, it ain't right. That's just a 1/4 inch. Now, we are making burnt ends, which means we have to separate the point from the flat. And you see all this white stuff right here? You just kind of slit and pull, and we're going to separate that. So I'm going to come over here and just cut into it like this. Get rid of all that fat. And this is you kind of just run your knife along and pull back. Make sure it's all white. If it's not white, you back up. See how, you back up a little bit and find that white. Got to completely separate these. Yeah, there we go. There's a line right there. So just run and pull, run and pull. And it would be falling off the bone here, but there ain't no bones. And then what do we do here on this very end? There we go. And check that out. We got the point. That's our burnt ends right here. We're gonna make succulent, moist, beefy, brothy goodness burnt ends. And now we just clean up some of this white stuff right here, because that's still really hard. You feel it, and if it's hard, you just soften it up. You just say, hey, little cow, just settle down. Why you gotta be so hard all the time? Now, at the back end of this flat, flip it over, what we have here, it's not solid white like it was down here at the bottom. We've got some unicorn skin here. We gotta peel off that unicorn skin. Boom. Just a little bit. Okay. That, I think, will get her done. Got a nice little piece of brisket here. And then, because I like to cut against the grain, one little trick that I saw in one of those technical YouTube videos that I told you not to watch is if you do a slice just like that and a slice just like that, that'll tell me which way to cut the brisket when I'm done. Okay, so we've got that flat ready to go. Come over here to the point. We trim this point up. Boom, boom. And never cut towards yourself, unless you're me. Marlene, you should come over here. I think the audience wants to see our pretty little girl. You like that piece of cow, huh? Look at that cow. Guys, look at that. Wow. I bet you can't wait to eat this piece of meat, huh? All right. There's the star of my life, both of them. Twinkle, twinkle. Oh man, this is the very first time I'm actually doing burnt ends. I've never done this before, and I'm teaching you guys how to do it. It's gonna be pretty. I watch a lot of videos, believe you me. Now, if you have your finger right here, you see this little finger? It's hard to cut right there. But if you just get your finger and point right into that meat, boop, point it up. Now you got a little bump, it's easier to cut. And there we go. Got our nice point, pointy end right here. Ready to go. And our brisket for brisket slices. Listen to the sound of my voice. Listen to the sound of my voice. Can you hear me now? Now that we've got these bad boys cut up, I've got some beef broth here with some seasoning. And we're gonna go ahead and give this cow its immunity shots. Just make sure it doesn't have the mad cow disease. So in order to do that, you gotta fight beef with beef. So we got beef broth. That's the only way to fight beef is with beef. And if you got beef with that, you know what I'm talking about. So let's come over here, mix it up. Woo, woo. All that seasoning in the beef broth. Pull it out. And just to eradicate all that mad cow disease, you gotta inject every square inch. So we're gonna put it right here. Okay, boom, squirt that stuff in. Come right here, squirt that in. About every square inch. Now only use this method if you're pro-vaccinations. You can get away without this if you really are against it, but okay, so we've got that really good for this, this point. I'm gonna move that over to the side and do the same thing over here for the brisket end. Every square inch. Ooh, yeah. This is just to go inside and marinate in the fridge for a little bit. Okay, so that's probably good. Okay, now what I have for you guys today is this Traeger prime rib rub that we're gonna use for the brisket. But you can use really any kind of seasoning that you want. Like I said, the most important thing is to make sure that you get beef brisket. Make sure that it's beef and not tuna fish. Other than that, you can use just about any seasonings you want. If all you have is parsley flakes and red pepper, you can go ahead and go to town on that. You come up here, woohoo, that's what we want. That's the flavor right there. And then don't rub, just pat. Just pat it down, make sure that it gets in there. Cows don't like getting rubbed, they like getting patted. Oh, that's ready to go. Oh man, I'm salivating already. Let's get that point over here. Get this all lathered up. So the next thing we want to do is wrap this meat up in plastic wrap. Make sure it's quarantined from the other products in the fridge so it doesn't give it mad cow disease while it's sitting in there and the injection's doing its thing trying to get rid of any potential risks. So let's go ahead and wrap that up. So now we got our cow wrapped up, ready to go in the fridge and ready to let that injection do its thing. In the fridge it goes. All right, we're out here at 1 in the morning. I let the cows rest for an hour because nobody likes to smoke a cold cow. And I have the Traeger running here. I have it set to 225. And overall, these are gonna smoke for about 9 or 10 hours at 225. If you wanna get it done faster, you could probably crank it up to 600 degrees and have it done in 2 hours if you wanna eat at 3 a.m. But I wanna eat at noon, so we're gonna make sure that these take 10 hours to get done. Do the flat here, directly on the grill, just like that. And the point here, just like so. In fact, I'm gonna do it this way. So now I wanna show you guys something extra special here. I have the Liahona of succulent meats right here. This is the thing that's gonna tell us when this meat is done. So we pull this out, little thermometer here, the meter, and we're gonna plug this into the thickest part of the meat. So somewhere, just right there. Once that's good and in there, right there, we'll be able to tell from our app what the temperature is. All right, so we got our meter inserted. We have the app here. It shows 48 degrees internal temperature. 165 is our target. And we're gonna get a nice little alert letting us know when that's done. And just in case, I'm gonna set an alarm clock here for 5 a.m. just to check on the temperature here. So 5 a.m. I can check that little meter app and we'll be good to go. All right, 5 in the morning, the temperature's at 165. It's time to get our flat out of the oven. So we're going to take some aluminum foil here. I gotta be honest with you, this is the least funnest part of doing this whole process is waking up in the morning. do this, but pretty soon I gotta go back to bed. Like that. Connect it together. And then we want to double wrap it. All right, so let's get our brisket out of the oven. Pull this up here. Oh my goodness, just check that out. So we're gonna leave that in there a bit longer, let that reach 190. We're gonna pull this one out right now and give it a little bit of juiciness. Oh man, that looks so good. Then we can pour this nice beef broth and seasoning. Hey, you be quiet, you just scared me. Holy cow. What are you barking at? It is too early for that, Ava. Pack that up nice and good. Throw that right back in there. And that's gonna go in for another 4 or 5 hours there. All right, we got our brisket back in the smoker. We're gonna let it sit in there for about 4 or 5 hours, and then we're gonna let it rest for a couple hours before we cut it up. As for the burnt ends, in a few hours, we're gonna pull that out. We're gonna cut that up into some cubes, and we're gonna do some magic to that, so stay tuned. Ooh, the lolly, it's time for the burnt ends. So, this has about 190 degrees internal temperature. We're gonna pull out the Leahona here. And let's go ahead and cut into this. So we're just gonna cut little cubes. Oh man. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Nice smoke ring around there. It just makes me want to eat it up right now. So we're gonna cut this up into 1-inch cubes. This makes me want to have some breakfast right now. Let me just see how we're doing here. That's heaven. As we do this, we can go ahead and put the burnt ends in this pan. Now we've got these beautiful burnt ends. And all we're gonna do here is juice it up with its relative, the beef broth. Just right here. Gonna put some of this in here. And I have some nice sugar lips, sriracha. Give it a tiny bit of heat here. Come over like this. Woo-hoo. Put that in there just like that. I think that's good for now. And you could mix it in. I guess just mix it a little bit. These are gonna be dirlish. All right, now we're just gonna tent this up. Put a little tin foil over this. We'll let that go back in for 1 more hour. Ooh la la, our burnt ends are done. And just go ahead and take a look at this juicy, good moistness here. We've got some beautiful color. They're really tender. And I'm gonna go ahead and have a bite into this and see how it is. That's just delicious. Let's go ahead and see how our brisket's doing. All right, the moment of truth. We've got our brisket here all done and we're ready to cut up. So I know I'm gonna find in the comments, Caleb, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Tuna fish, Valerian steel, or parsley flakes? Well, there's only one way to find out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut into this here. We'll cut right down into the middle. And remember these little slits here, tells me where I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna do this. Just cut right into there. Oh my gosh. Oh, check that out. Nice smoke ring, juiciness. See if you can see that here. Okay, let's do another slice here. I'm gonna go ahead and taste this. Do one slice just like that. And now a lot of people might think, Caleb, the only real way to know if this brisket is done to perfection is do the pull test. And you look at that, how it just pulls apart, boom, with some nice elasticity. But the fact is, this pull test doesn't really matter. The only way to really test a brisket is to put it in your mouth. And you can tell it's good because of the way it is. Oh, that's delicious. Look at that. All that hard work and that extremely in-depth knowledge really shows in this brisket. I wish you the best of luck smoking.